He's not chasing David anymore. He's hunting his blood. That's the first thing this House of David Season 3, Episode 1 trailer makes painfully clear. This isn't about strategy now. This isn't about the throne. This is about punishment. Season 2 ended with David running, broken, lone, and barely alive. And Season 3 opens like the story has finally snapped. No patience left, no restraint left, no rules left. Because when a king realizes he's losing control, he doesn't aim for the warrior. He aims for the heart. And Saul's next move proves just how far gone he really is. This trailer doesn't feel like a normal first look. It feels like a threat, a warning. Like the story is leaning in and whispering, things are about to get ugly. Saul isn't just angry anymore, he's desperate. And desperation turns power into poison. You can feel it at every second of this trailer. Saul isn't thinking like a ruler who wants to win. He's thinking like a man who refuses to accept that his time is ending. And when that kind of man panics, everyone around him pays the price. Because let's be honest, Saul has already tried everything. He's thrown armies at David, he's set traps, he's lied, he's manipulated, he's turned allies into enemies, he's even slaughtered priests, and still, David survives. David slips away. David keeps gaining loyalty without even trying. And that's the part Saul can't stand. It's not just that David is alive, it's that people believe in him. And belief is more dangerous than any sword. So now, Saul changes the game. If he can't break David on the battlefield, he'll break him at home. The trailer makes it painfully clear that David's family is no longer safe. And that one shift changes everything. Because running for your own life is one thing, but running when your mother, your father, your brothers are in danger, that's different. That's not escape anymore. That's responsibility. That's leadership being forced on you whether you're ready or not. And David is not ready. Not emotionally, not mentally. He's still carrying the loss of Mishal. He's still carrying betrayal. He's still carrying the weight of doing the right thing and being punished for it anyway. David didn't steal. He didn't rebel. He didn't lift his hand against Saul. And yet, he's the one being hunted like an animal. That injustice is what makes this trailer hit so hard. Because David is suffering not because he's evil, but because he's faithful. And that kind of suffering changes a person. What makes this first look so intense is that you can see David shifting. He's not just reacting anymore, he's thinking ahead. He's reading Saul's moves. He knows this isn't random cruelty. This is calculated. Saul wants to force him into a corner. Saul wants David to snap, because the moment David strikes first, Saul wins the story. Saul gets to say, "See, I was right about him." And Saul is obsessed with being right, even if it destroys the kingdom. Meanwhile, Saul himself is falling apart. Samuel is gone. The spiritual protection is gone. The voice that kept Saul in check is silent. And without that anchor, Saul is drifting straight into madness. One moment he's raging, the next moment he's crying. One moment he's hunting David. The next moment he's killing innocent people. This is not a king in control. This is a man drowning, pulling everyone else down with him. And that's what makes Saul so dangerous in this trailer. You can't predict him. You can't reason with him. You can't negotiate with him. He's not trying to rule anymore. He's trying to hurt. And when someone like that decides to go after family, there are no lines left uncrossed. At the same time, David's world is getting bigger whether he wants it or not. People are gathering around him, not perfect people, broken people, angry people, loyal people, people with nowhere else to go. And suddenly, David isn't just protecting himself. He's protecting refugees. He's protecting followers. He's protecting a future he hasn't even accepted yet. And every choice he makes now affects lives, not just his own. That's why this trailer feels suffocating in the best way. David can't win cleanly. If he stays close to protect his family, Saul's forces close in. If he runs too far, Saul strikes first. If he fights back, he risks becoming the monster Saul accuses him of being. And if he does nothing, innocent blood could be spilled because of him. Saul has turned the situation into a trap with no easy exit. And that's not an accident. That's the point. Because Saul doesn't just want David dead, he wants David broken. He wants him to choose wrong. He wants him to lose the very thing that makes him different. And the scariest part of this trailer is realizing that Saul might actually succeed unless David makes a choice that changes everything. So here's the real question. This first look leaves hanging in the air. When Saul comes for David's family, will David keep running? Or will he finally be forced to fight in a way that could cost him his soul? This is where House of David Season 3, Episode 1 stops feeling like a chase story and starts feeling like a psychological war. Because once Saul targets David's family, everything becomes personal in a way David can't ignore. This isn't about survival anymore. This is about identity, about who David becomes when the danger reaches the people he loves most. And the trailer makes it painfully obvious that Saul knows exactly what he's doing. Saul understands something terrifying about David. David can endure pain aimed at himself. He can handle betrayal. He can handle exile. He can even handle being hunted. But David cannot handle innocent people suffering because of him. And Saul uses that weakness like a weapon. That's why this season feels darker. Saul isn't trying to win the throne anymore. He's trying to corrupt the future king before he ever sits on it. You can feel the pressure closing in from every direction. Saul's kingdom is crumbling from the inside. His authority is slipping. His soldiers are questioning him. His advisors are silent. His God feels distant. And instead of stopping to reflect, Saul tightens his grip. He squeezes harder. He strikes faster. He cares less about who gets caught in the middle. That's not strength. That's fear wearing a crown. And fear makes people cruel. David, on the other hand, is being pushed into leadership without ceremony, without safety, and without time to heal. His followers are growing, and that alone is dangerous. Every new supporter is another mouth to feed, another life to protect, another reason Saul will strike harder. David's camp isn't just a hiding place anymore. It's becoming an alternative to the palace. And that idea terrifies Saul more than any sword ever could. Because armies can be defeated, but belief spreads. The trailer quietly shows that David's strength has never been brute force. It's restraint, it's patience, it's knowing when not to strike. And that's what makes this moment so unbearable. Because David has the skill to end Saul. He has the opportunity. He has loyal men who would follow him without question. And yet, the weight of that decision hangs heavier than any blade. Jonathan's position only makes it worse. Trapped between a father who is losing himself and a friend who is becoming everything Saul fears, Jonathan is standing in the middle of a collapse. He knows the truth. He knows David is chosen. He knows Saul is wrong. And still, he's powerless to stop the damage. That quiet heartbreak is one of the most painful parts of this story because Jonathan represents the cost of loving both sides when only one can survive. And then there's the spiritual tension. Saul acts from jealousy. David acts from faith. Saul reacts emotionally. David seeks direction. The trailer hints that David doesn't rush into decisions fueled by anger. He pauses. He asks. He listens. And that difference matters more than any battlefield victory. Because David isn't just fighting Saul. He's fighting the temptation to take shortcuts to destiny. That's what makes this episode feel like a turning point. David's war isn't just against an unstable king, it's against revenge, against pride, against the urge to end the suffering the fast way instead of the right way. And the closer Saul gets, the louder that temptation becomes. The caves looming in this episode carry a terrifying promise. Close quarters, shared shadows, a moment where history could change in seconds. Saul vulnerable, David close enough to strike. One decision away from peace or disaster. And that's what makes this episode feel unbearable in the best way. Because the tension isn't about who is stronger, it's about who will remain faithful when power is within reach. Saul would kill to keep control. David refuses to kill to take the crown. And that single difference is why everything is about to change. Because every time Saul pushes David toward darkness, David is forced to decide whether he will become what Saul already is or remain who he was chosen to be. So, as season 3, episode 1 begins, the question isn't whether Saul will attack. He already has. The real question is this: when David is finally cornered between saving his family and preserving his calling, which part of him will he sacrifice? And will mercy survive when blood is this close?